Okay, good morning, everyone. Welcome to our last edition of Commissioners Court for 2020. Today's date is December 31st, 2020. It's 9 a.m. We're here for our regular Commissioners Court meeting. So we'll start our meeting out with the pledge and then the invocation led by Commissioner Burnell. So if you would please stand. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Bow with me for the invocation. Heavenly Father, we're just grateful to be here this morning for this new day. Father, as 2020 comes to an end, I think we can all agree it's been a difficult year in many ways. And I think we can also agree it was filled with many blessings. Heavenly Father, I just want to thank you for every day of life you gave us and for all the many blessings that you bestowed upon us during 2020. As we go into the new year coming, Father, I'm asking you to go with us, that you direct our paths, that you just prepare us for what the year holds for us. And Father, this morning I want to pray for Oscar Chavez and his family as they go through some difficult times. Oscar suffered an aneurysm earlier this week, and the doctors are telling us that he has sustained severe brain damage. I pray that you would just comfort this family, Father, during this difficult time as only you can. And I want to thank you, Father, for allowing us to have a man such as Oscar in our lives over these years. For I pray these things in Jesus' name and for his sake. Amen.
Amen.
All right. Our first item on the agenda today is to approve the minutes for the regular meeting of December 14th, 2020, and special meetings of December 11th, 2020, December 18th, 2020, and December 23rd, 2020. You've all had a copy of these minutes. Do I hear a motion that we would approve those minutes as written? Motion made by Commissioner King. Do I hear a second? Second by Commissioner Cornell. Any discussion? If not, all those in favor say aye. Aye. All those opposed? All right. Our next item is our county auditor.
Good morning.
Good morning.
I have several line item transfers. The first line item transfer is from non-departmental contingency fund for $5,000 to non-departmental miscellaneous expense for $5,000. And this was for the $5,000 that was paid to the Health Center Independent School District for the funds they needed for computer equipment due to COVID-19. And it was part of a grant they received, and they received funds from us as well.
This is one, if y'all will recall, early, or not early, but in the summer, we received notice from them asking us for some of the funds that we were receiving. Thank you. And we, the way the grant worked out, we had to wait until at the end before we expended that type of expenditure, so that's why it's taking place at this time. So, you've heard the line item transfer for the $5,000 from contingency to miscellaneous. Do I hear a motion that we approve this transfer?
I make that motion.
Motion made by Commissioner Cornell. Do I hear a second?
I'll second.
Second made by Commissioner Kelly. Any discussion? If not, all those in favor say aye. Aye. All those opposed?
My next line item transfer is also from a non-departmental contingency fund in the amount of $60.57 to the juvenile telephone in the amount of $60.57.
Line item transfer from non-department contingency of 6057 into juvenile telephone. Do I hear a motion to approve this line item transfer? Motion made by Commissioner Kelly. Do I hear a second? Second by Commissioner King. Any discussion? If not, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? All right.
Okay, my next line item transfer is for precinct 1, repair of utility lines in the amount of $1,000, and also from precinct 1 equipment in the amount of $1,000 to precinct 1 equipment maintenance repairs in the amount of $2,000.
You've heard the line item transfer in the amount of $2,000. Do I hear a motion that we approve this transfer?
Make that motion.
Motion made by Commissioner Cornell. Do I hear a second? Second by Commissioner Kelly. Any discussion? If not, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed?
Okay, my next line item transfer is from the non-departmental contingency fund in the amount of $731.50 to the telephone in the general fund for $731.50.
You've heard this line item transfer of $731.50. Do I hear a motion to approve this transfer? Motion made by Commissioner Kelly. Do I hear a second? Second by Commissioner King. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed?
Okay, my next one is the courthouse building and grounds utilities in the amount of $727.33 to the courthouse building and grounds janitorial supplies in the amount of $727.32.
All right, transfer of $727.33 from building and grounds to janitorial. Do I hear a motion to approve this transfer? Motion made by Commissioner King. Do I hear a second? Second by Commissioner Kelly. Any discussion? If not, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed?
My last line item transfer is from the Justice Center utilities for $544.58 to the Justice Center janitorial supplies in the amount of $544.58.
Transfer from utilities to janitorial supplies in the amount of $544.58. Do I hear a motion to approve this transfer? Motion made by Commissioner King. Do I hear a second? Second by Commissioner Kelly. Any discussion? If not, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed?
And that ends my line item transfers. My next item is to approve the annual 2021 stipend recipients in the amount of $415,015. And I've handed you all a list to review. So those are all the people that have been approved and budgeted.
All right, any questions about the list? Okay. I have a motion from Commissioner Kelly that we would approve and fund the 2021 funding recipients. Do I hear a second?
I second.
Second by Commissioner Cornell. Any discussion? If not, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? All right.
My next item is to approve the change order number 1 to adjust accepted quantities and pricing for crack seal material from $5.80 to $5.50 per linear foot at the Plainview Hale County Airport and allow the county judge to sign.
Okay. You heard the request to change the change order from $5.80 to $5.50 per linear foot and allow me to sign. Do I hear a motion to approve this?
this is the crack seal project that went on at the airport, and they had a change in the price of the material, and so they are required to do a change order. We have already paid for that project, because it was completed, so we've already paid them, but, I spoke with Jim, and he did feel that we needed to put this on the agenda so the judge could
So there
sign it.
won't be any additional money?
No,
Okay.
no, there's
Okay.
no additional funds, it didn't affect, the amount already,
Okay, thank you.
yes.
So do I hear a motion to approve this?
I'll make that motion.
Motion made by Commissioner Cornell. Do I hear a second? Second by Commissioner King. Any further discussion? If not, all those in favor say aye. All those opposed?
My next item is to approve the contractor's application for payment number 1 in the amount of $110,000 for the crack seal project at the Plainview Hill County Airport and allow the county judge to sign. And this too is just a requirement of the contract that the contractor submits to Park Wilson and Cooper, who we contracted with. But we did pay the contractor directly, which is what we were supposed to do.
Okay. So do I hear a motion to approve this?
I'll make the motion.
Motion made by Commissioner Kelly. Do I hear a second? Second by Commissioner King. Any discussion? If not, all those in favor say aye. All those opposed?
Okay. My next item is to approve the engagement letter with iDaily to perform the year-end 2020 audit of Hill County and allow the county judge to sign. And it is kind of crazy, it is coming up, our audit is scheduled for April, next year, and, so I have those contracts, and the amount will be $39,500. It is very possible that we will have to have a single audit, which is another, cost of $10,000. And, due to all the different grants that the county has received this year. And, but we won't really know that until we get those final figures in, but just to let you know that it could be an additional amount if we have to have that single audit, which I'm anticipating.
Is that up from the prior year?
It's about the same.
About the same?
Mm-hmm.
Do I hear?
Linda, would you make sure that they don't do the audit? I'm going to have my treasurer's conference, like the week of the 17th in April, and I don't know if it's gonna be outside of the camp, somewhere
Yeah.
else. But if we have to do Zoom, I still need to attend, so.
Right.
Look at those dates.
I will,
Okay.
when we get closer. I mean, they haven't given me a definitive date yet, I just know it'll be in April.
Okay.
Okay. Do I hear a motion after hearing, Melinda on this contract and allow me to sign it? Do I hear a motion to approve it?
I'll make that motion, Judge.
Motion made by Commissioner, Cornell. Do I hear a second? Second by Commissioner Kelly. Any discussion, further discussion? If not, all those in favor say aye. All those opposed? All right.
There are two contracts, one's for us and one's for them. My next line item is to approve the engagement letter with iDaily to perform the year-end 2020 audit of the Plainview Hill County Airport and allow the county judge to sign. And this cost will be, estimated at $2,700.
Okay, so you've heard the request, to do the audit report of 2020 for the Plainview Hill County Airport. Do I hear a motion to approve this contract and allow me to sign it? Motion made by Commissioner King. Do I hear a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Cornell. Any discussion? If not, all those in favor say aye. All those opposed? All right.
And that concludes my report.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Linda.
Give me just a second. Ryan. next item on the agenda is our county treasurer.
Good morning.
Morning.
Good morning.
Okay, I have several agenda items. The accounts payable for December the 31st of 2020 is $138,696.53.
Okay. All right, so, you'll see the accounts payable in the amount of $138,696.53. Do I hear a motion to approve that? Motion made by Commissioner Kelly. Do I hear a second? Second by Commissioner King. Any discussion? If not, all those in favor say aye. All those opposed?
My next item is the financial report for November 30th of 2020. Thank God we're caught up. But, I'll get you a look at page 3. Sorry, gotta get my cheaters on here. The monthly closing balance for, November 30th of 2020 is $19,740. 19 million.
That's better.
Yeah. Lot better, $19,740,184.20. I hereby certify that this report is sure and correct and will request that you place it in minutes.
I said, say if it's 19,000, we'd go have to have another audit.
Yeah.
We sure
We're in trouble.
All right, y'all heard the, report from Ida on the financial statement, and, correct amount was $19,740,184.20. So I hear a motion to accept this financial, statement for the month ending November 30th.
I'll make that motion.
All right, motion made by Commissioner Cornell. Do I hear a second? Second by Commissioner Kelly. Any other discussion? If not, all those in favor say aye. All those opposed?
Okay, there's also have the affidavit that will be placed in the newspaper stating that the court has received the opinion of the financial report.
All right, do I hear a motion to, run the affidavit in the newspaper? Motion made by Commissioner King. Second by Commissioner Kelly. Any other discussion? If not, all those in favor say aye. All those opposed?
Okay, my next item is the estimated payroll, and these are numbers that are estimated based on the budget that was approved during our process in July, August, and part of September. And this is just to allow me to issue payroll for 2021. The last page is $9,876,266. And this includes benefits, salary benefits for all county employees.
Okay. All right. So, you've heard the, or have been given the 2021 estimated payroll. Do I hear a motion that we would approve this payroll? Motion made by Commissioner King. Do I hear a second? Second by Commissioner Kelly. Any discussion? Now, this is something new, right?
No, sir, I do this every January. Yeah,
I'm
just
sorry,
like Melinda's does.
You was
the-
asleep last year.
Yeah, yeah, this is just based on the budget book, Judge, it's
Okay.
nothing different, we just went exactly off the budget book, but it has to be approved as a total for me to process payroll for the next year.
Okay. All right.
Okay?
Like I said, I must have missed out on this last year, so, but, any other discussion? If not, all those in favor say aye. All those opposed?
Okay, Judge, my next item is my last item, and this is in regards to the insurance being self-funded with the medical coverage. TAC is asking us some question in regards to COVID and how we're going to administer the plan for 2021. I'm gonna call Kathy Davenport. She's our representative, and she's waiting for us to call, so that she could explain a little bit more detail. I did give you a copy of the letter sheet. No, I did not, I'm sorry, guys. That she sent me. And, excuse my writing on it. I wrote all over it before I made copies, and I don't think y'all are gonna be able to make sense of it.
I do have a copy of it, so.
Okay. Because, when she's talking to me, I'm going like crazy, so I don't even, so I've read those notes, and I don't understand some of them either, so. Don't be surprised. Y'all want a copy, Bridget?
Got a copy there.
You got a copy? Okay, good. Everybody get a copy, Melinda? Okay, let me call it, guys.
Good morning, this is Kathy.
Hey Kathy, this is Ida Tyler.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, we're in court and I just told them, the agenda item. I have not elaborated anything to them, so I'm gonna give you the floor, if that's okay.
Okay, let me pull up your information. Good morning, everyone. What we are getting from the county is our board, met back, the 1st of December and made some changes to our coverage of how, COVID is going to be handled moving forward. As most of you know, the presidential mandate for covering 100% on the testing is due to expire January 21st. And what our board has opted to do is, once that mandate has expired, testing for our fully insured groups will follow each group's individual plan. So now the employees or members in the county will have to pay a portion based on their individual plan. We are also moving to where the coverage for actual being hospitalized is not being covered at 100% beginning January 1st. That will be based on each individual county's plan. And also with the vaccine that has come out, the fully insured groups, we are putting that on our formulary. And so we need Hill County to decide if they want that to be covered on their formulary. As of right now, the vaccine is covered at 100% by the plan. There is no cost to the individual. However, each plan has to cover the administration cost, which means that the pool is covering the administration cost of that for each individual fully insured group. For Hill County, y'all would pay the government is paying for the actual vaccine, but Hill County would have to cover the administration cost, which is the administration cost for the first round of the vaccine is a little under $17. And then the administration cost for the second shot of the vaccine is a little under 29. And so basically, we are just needing, how Hill County wants us to handle the coverage for the coronavirus and the vaccine.
Okay, Kathy, I have a question. You're referring to everything fully covered. We're self-insured.
Correct.
So are those amounts still the same?
Yes, they're still the same.
Okay. So let's start with the first bullet. You're wanting to know whether, the county is interested in, going with whatever the CDC's doing. Well, first, let me ask you first, Kathy, what are other counties doing?
Okay, most of our, self-insured groups like Hill County, are just following whatever we're doing with the fully insured group. So there is some consistency throughout all of the groups that are covered under our plans. Plus, this also allows us to, if the other, if another mandate is kicked in that covers, that's requiring testing to be covered at 100%, or something regarding the vaccine. And we are anticipating, these two mandates to be updated after January 1st. They're doing that so we don't necessarily have to come back to the county. It just kind of flows through.
Okay. So let's,
And so most are following what the fully insured groups are getting.
okay. So I guess if you could, let's do one bullet at a time, because you kind of threw I understand what you're saying, but they don't deal with it daily.
Yeah, and I was doing what I could remember because I was pulling up the information. Okay, so in regards to COVID-19 testing, the mandate that says that testing has to be covered at 100% ends on January 21st. Our board opted to, the benefit would still be covered, it would still be offered, but the cost share to the employees is dependent on each member's individual plan within their county. If the mandate is extended, our fully insured groups will follow that mandate for our fully insured groups. So right now, it's covered at 100%, but that is going to be possibly stopped on January 21st, and then members will have to pay a copay, or if they go to the emergency room, that portion is going to apply also.
Okay. So you want to know if they want to do it fully, like we are right now, or if they're going to have the employee do the $25 deductible or the emergency room deductible, and I believe we're at $90.
Why don't,
I believe so also, yeah, if it would just, if you're still going to cover it at 100%, or after January 21st, if it's going to be based on the benefits.
so basically, we need to decide if we're gonna cover it, then it's gonna come out of our expense.
Yes, sir. And it has been.
And it has been, but if we do the 25 copay, then it would be covered all, but the employee's $25 copay.
Exactly.
And she's saying that's what most counties are doing.
But if they come back and do, updated mandate, then y'all will follow whatever the mandate says.
Correct.
Okay. All right. Is this a all or nothing deal? I mean,
Well, that was another question, Kathy, I was gonna ask you, is this something that, for example, I know CDC can come back in and do, like they did for 2020, but can the county change, or is it something we're deciding on for the whole year?
Okay, y'all can come back and y'all can come back and y'all can change it.
Okay.
You know, if y'all want to continue to cover it at 100%, we can put that in place. For even after January 21st, once the mandate ends.
okay, so I guess my next question is, we will have another Commissioners Court meeting on January, what, 11th? Is it something, is that too late for us to decide, or do we need to make a decision today?
We really need you to make a decision today
All
because
right.
it takes Blue Cross time
Okay,
to get everything covered.
all right. So do we need to take this one item and vote on it, or just vote on it as a whole at the end?
I'd like it one at a time, just for it to be clear, Judge.
Okay.
Please.
All right, so you've heard Kathy's explanation and what Ida has provided for us in writing on the COVID-19 testing. Do I hear a motion on what we're gonna do on this? Do we have I guess the motion would need to say either we're gonna continue to cover it 100%, or that we want a motion in which, when it expires, the employee would be out a $25 copay.
That falls in line with what the other counties are doing, and that's what I would be in favor of doing, Judge.
Okay. So you put that in the form of a
I would
motion?
put that in the form of a motion.
Okay. Have a motion from Commissioner Cornell that we would have the no cost until January 21st, when the current mandate ends. And if it's not renewed or changed, then after, on January 22nd, the testing would cost the employee $25 copay. All right, do I hear a second? Second by Commissioner King. Any discussion? If not, all those in favor say aye. All those opposed? All right.
Okay, Kathy, let's do number 2, the bullet, in regards to the treatment.
Okay, as of right now, through December 31st, if one of our county members, gets COVID-19 and has to go into the hospital or is under doctor care, that is being covered at 100% for the employees. They're not having to pay anything for COVID-19. As you know, y'all have heard, it has been very, very costly to cover at that level. To the tune of about $9 million now for the fully insured groups. So what our board opted to do was, beginning on January 1st, regardless of whether it's COVID or another illness, it's going to be treated based on each individual county's plan. So they still have to pay their deductible, their 20%, until they meet their maximum out of pocket. And right now, Hill County is covering it at 100%. So we need to know if y'all want to follow the fully insured groups to where for COVID-19, the treatment kicks in on January 1st, but it follows your plan, where they have to meet their deductibles and stuff like that.
Okay, and I just want for the record to state that you're referring to the deductible if they get hospitalized, and that would be $1,500 for individual and $2,500 for a dependent.
Right.
Okay, or family. Okay, so that's the question. The one before is different because it's copay for doctor's visits. an emergency room, this is hospitalization.
Okay. You've heard for the treatment, we've been covering it at 100%. But as of midnight tonight, do we want to go to the cost share in that if you're hospitalized with COVID-19, would be treated just like any other hospitalization for the employee, and the deductibles that are applicable would have to be met by the employee? Do I hear that in the form of a motion?
I'll make that motion.
All right. Motion made by Commissioner Cornell. Do I hear a second? Second by Commissioner King. Any discussion? If not, all those in favor say aye. All those opposed? All right.
Okay, the next one, Kathy, is in regards to telehealth visits. Now, we don't utilize telehealth. We are using Teladoc, and I know that TAC provides it, but we have gone with Teladoc, so I think we can skip that one.
Okay, well, the telehealth and the MD Live are two separate.
Yes, ma'am.
The MD Live does not, apply to y'all. But what we found was some doctors, some local providers, if it was something that could be handled, kind of like Teladoc, they would do visits that way instead of, having people come into their office and subject them to the possibility of getting COVID.
Okay.
And they didn't charge as much for those type of visits as if, people were coming in. So what, we did is, at this point, if a doctor still wants to do the telehealth visits as a regular provider,
Yes,
if
sir.
someone's normal care provider still wants to do the telehealth type visits, up until midnight tonight, there has been no copay for those.
Okay.
Starting January 1st, the copays are going to apply.
Okay, so you're referring to bullet number 4.
No, number 3. Because
Okay.
y'all did not participate in MD Live.
Okay, I see, I'm sorry, I had them backwards in my head.
Okay,
All right. That would be a copay in that one, Judge.
Now that's our Teladoc.
That is, the telehealth, like if you go to your own regular doctor, if you choose just not to start put the patients
okay.
in, then you could do it via.
So this is something that has been utilized by local physicians?
Yes, sir.
Okay, all right. And so basically our options are, up to this point, they've been doing that the cost was covered, and beginning tomorrow, it would be an employee copay. Is that correct?
Correct.
Okay.
yes.
All right. Do I hear a motion to change, if they use this telehealth visit, that after today, they would have to pay their copay? Do I hear that in the form of a motion? Motion made by Commissioner King. Do I hear second?
I'll second.
Second by Commissioner Cornell. Any discussion?
Seems like we're hitting the employees pretty hard here, to do this COVID stuff.
Well, we didn't do that this year, there was no cost at all, even payroll. I mean, we paid them administrative leave, So it's an expense to the county. Now, because we're self-insured, that makes a difference to the county, as far as claims. Any normal doctor's visit that you go to, you're gonna pay that copay.
Absolutely.
you
I
know?
understand all that, it just seemed like we're,
Yeah, I know. I know what you're saying.
This COVID's been, the county sustained a tremendous amount of extra expense because of this COVID, you know, and how much can we sustain? I think we went above and beyond for our employees.
Well, and if there is a change with CDC, we're gonna have to change, you know, it's not an option, we didn't have an option to do it the way we did this year. We had, it was mandated by CDC. Now they're giving us the option, but that doesn't mean we're gonna have to, they could change it. If COVID comes in with this new strain that's out and we get, I mean, it's already in Colorado now, so, it's just a matter of time whether we'll be affected and when, you know?
I think we're caught in between
We are.
two cycles,
We
and,
are.
and so I think once, because COVID's not going away. You know, 2021's not gonna be the magic year that it goes away, so, but it is as far as the way it's being handled, from an administrative standpoint. But I would anticipate shortly after the first, that they're gonna go back to similar standards.
Maybe so.
in 2020.
Okay, so, we've got a motion and a second. Any further discussion on the telehealth visits? All right, if not, all those in favor say aye. All those opposed? Okay.
Okay, Kathy, I do want to say something that Melinda reminded me on, in regards to Hill County, you sent me some reports. And Hill County has paid $48,088.74 in claims. So, and I know that you compared us to Taylor County, can you elaborate on that?
With the, you know, comparing the two counties, and y'all are, roughly about the same size, excuse me, y'all's claims have been considerably lower than Taylor County. I was trying to remember to the tune. It was, y'all weren't quite half, y'all were a little over half of what Taylor County's claims have been.
Okay, you had quoted me when we were discussing this, you said Taylor County had 130,000. And then I have 41, and I'm assuming it's 41 employees that they had, or 41 individuals. But we had 48,000,
Yes,
so it's about a third.
yeah.
Okay.
But actually, to be honest with you, Kathy, we're about a third of the size of Taylor County.
Okay, well, I was talking about employee size.
Okay. Because I know Taylor County, of course, has Abilene, and from a population standpoint, they're
Yeah,
about three
yeah.
times our population.
Yeah, but employee size, y'all
Okay.
are roughly about the same.
Okay.
And so that makes a difference.
Well, do we have too many employees, or do they not have enough?
Well, what it shows to me is someone looking in, maybe y'all's mitigation, how y'all handle, was different. Also, I know Taylor County houses, I mean, their jail was overrun with it. I would say probably 90 to 95% of their employees that work in their jail caught COVID. Because of the inmates bringing it in, and they house a lot of out-of-county inmates. So that was part of it. Like I said, I know their jail was riddled with it for a long time. So that, you know, that also plays a factor into, their costs and, you know, what they were out. And how, you know, how many got it.
Okay.
So oh, I'm sorry, go
Okay,
ahead.
Judge.
No, I was just gonna say, I guess the last thing we need to talk about is the cost of the vaccine.
Right. The fully insured the vaccine has already been placed on, all of the formularies, even for the, self-funded groups like Hill County, because they started coming out December 17th. So you may have already had someone who's gotten the vaccine. I don't know, I haven't seen any reports, and probably won't till after tomorrow. But we need to know how y'all want to handle, the coverage for the vaccine. Again, this is one of those that is part of the mandate that ends January 21st. The current mandate, says that the vaccine that has to be covered at 100% by the plan, and the administration costs. The vaccine is covered, the actual cost of the vaccine is covered by the federal government. The plans have to cover the administration costs. Depending on whether or not that mandate is updated, and we're pretty sure it will be, the members will not have to pay a copay, regardless of their plan to get the vaccine. The pool, the tax will cover the administration costs. Y'all can opt to have it offered at a copay level once that mandate is expired and does not go back into effect. So y'all can have it covered at a tier 1, tier 2, or tier 3 copay. So you're not having to pay out all of it.
I would say, my opinion to the court would be that we cover the vaccination. I mean, just to,
I agree.
I mean,
Are we gonna make it mandatory for every employee to get this?
personally,
I don't
I don't
think we
think we
can.
should.
I don't think we could.
I think
we
you
want
can.
to if we could.
I really do think you can make it mandatory. Is that correct, Kathy?
On the legal side of it, I've heard that HR, like Michelle Arsenault in
Yeah.
Young Talk,
Uh-huh.
yes, employers can make it mandatory. And to me, if it's offered where they're not having to pay anything to get this vaccine, they're more than likely going to get the vaccine, and like, someone said earlier, this is not going away. I think we would have a higher chance if it was covered at 100% of people actually getting the vaccine
Well, I would say,
when they're eligible.
for the purpose of our discussions today, that we might just make the motion that we will cover it at 100%. And leave that where it's at.
Yes.
And if we have issues regarding the other, then we'll get with our legal counsel and talk about that.
That's good.
Okay? All right, so do I hear a motion that we would cover the vaccine expense at 100%?
I'd make that motion.
Motion made by Commissioner Cornell. Do I hear a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Kelly. Any further discussion? If not, all those in favor say aye. All those opposed? All right.
Okay, Kathy, is there anything else? I have notes, but again, I'm not really sure what I was writing here, but it's in regards to the formulating of the pool, following the pool, added to formulating, or formulated. You said something about formulating the plan.
Well, adding the vaccine to the formulary.
Okay, formulary, I said, I wrote down the wrong thing. Okay, and,
Well,
go ahead.
after court, if you want to give me a call back, because unfortunately I will need another letter,
Yes,
we can discuss that after court.
Okay, sounds good.
And y'all can get your business done and let me go home.
Okay, and then I'll need the judge, approval to sign the document that we'll write up.
Okay, all right. So do I hear a motion that, we allow Ida to, I guess, put in writing what we have agreed on here today and allow me to sign that document when she gets it produced?
Make that motion.
Motion made by Commissioner Cornell. Do I hear a second? Second by Commissioner King. Any discussion? If not, all those in favor say aye. All those opposed? All right. Well, Kathy, thank you for joining us and walking us through this thing.
Well, I just wish I could have been there. It makes it so much easier.
Well, like I say,
But I appreciate y'all's time.
we appreciate your time and effort. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am, I'll call you later.
Okay, not a problem.
You know, we're all having to do things totally different, and
Yeah,
it's, we're still in an adjustment stage.
yeah.
Yeah. All right, bye-bye, Kathy.
All right, talk to you later.
All right, bye-bye.
Bye.
All right. Anything further, Ida?
Yes, Judge, I did want to address our policy in regards to COVID, okay? In this year, we've done the leave as admin and we pay the employee regardless, okay? So they're not utilized their sick time or any of their time. This is the time of the year that we're gonna cut back to what the carryovers of what they can carry, which is 240 hours of sick time and 80 hours of vacation. So I need direction from the court as to do what y'all wanna do. Do we, continue doing it, and paying them administrative leave? Now, this is, and then if you wanna do that, I'd kinda like to know a little bit more direction on whether you wanna just do it for the employee or dependents and family, or do you wanna go back to them using their time if they're out?
I think that it would be fair for the county to pay these employees 80 hours. Whether they have COVID, whether they've been isolated because they've been around somebody for COVID, and then after that, they use their time.
Okay, so do we wanna start this in 2021, cause we've already had,
Yes,
okay.
yes, that would be my suggestion. And I don't know
So
what,
you're saying if they got COVID, you wanna pay them 80 hours of administrative,
yes,
and then after that, then they can use.
yes.
Basically, every employee would get 10 working days to be off, whether they have been diagnosed with COVID or they have been exposed and need to quarantine.
That's correct, Judge, and that, from what I can tell, seems to be the general consensus of what other people are doing.
And even though we haven't done it officially, that's sort of what you've been doing anyway, isn't it?
Yes, the CDC just allowed it, first it was 14 days, and then it was 10 days just recently, in the last month or so. So, yeah, that's what we've been doing.
Well, the 10 working days will give them 14 days.
Yeah.
So they'll have the days off.
That'd be 2 weeks, basically.
Yeah,
You know, I'd like to say we could just pay for everything forever, but realistically, you know we can't.
No.
Could I ask a question of the court, please?
Yeah.
Say an employee goes and tests, and it tests negative, but they're showing symptoms. And we're all in the flu season and everything, and they say, well, your test is negative, but you could have got a false negative, and you still need quarantine. Is that gonna be considered COVID, or is that gonna be considered 6 weeks down the line when they test positive? What are we going to do?
What do you think, Sheriff?
I think, in my opinion, I think it's, if they're required to stay home and it's related to COVID possibly, then they get their 10 days and they're done.
Okay.
I mean, that's how
What if
I
it
would
wasn't?
think, I mean,
What if it wasn't, I mean, that particular situation, and 6 weeks down the line, it does show a positive COVID, and they've already burnt their 10 days, what do we do then?
I think that would be different. They,
Okay.
so, I think we would, take it individually consideration.
And Sheriff, that is happening a lot. I mean, we
I've got one
see
right now,
these tests that come out false.
and I don't mean to throw a kink in anything, I just, because I'm going through it right now with one that's negative, that's showing all the symptoms. And the doctor said, well, that could be a false positive, so you still need quarantine, okay?
You know-
In 3 or 4 weeks, this person gets sick again and it tests positive. Where are we at then?
It's a legitimate concern. I'm glad you brought it up.
Well, the other thing is, we certainly don't want, somebody that has expended their 10 days and then sick, like you say, 6
No, we
months
don't want
later,
them coming
get
back to
feeling
work.
bad
Yeah.
and think, well, I've already took
I gotta
9
work.
days off, I gotta go to work. No, we don't want them to come to work.
But Judge, a lot of people, especially in the sheriff's office, they lose a lot of, you know that.
Yeah.
They lose a lot of their time, so you giving it to them to take it off the books. One, when you leave it on the books, as far as vacation and comp, it's an expenditure, it's a liability to the county. But if, in the sick time, you know, we can't just let it build up and build up, because I can tell you, there's some departments that, as soon as they get it, earn it, they use it. So, I think it's, if they don't, if we give them 80 hours, I think,
What if we do it this way? What if we do the 10 days, like Kenny suggested, but then have an option that the elected official or department head could come back if specific need arises, and discuss that basically on an individual basis
With the court,
with the court.
I like that idea, Judge.
I mean, we can't discuss individuals, you know, because of the
No.
HIPAA, but we can discuss, you know, that, and especially someplace like the jail where,
well, Judge, and I'm just speaking for myself. In my opinion, I think as an elected official, we have the authority and responsibility to our own department. So I don't feel that it's the court's, decision to say, well, we're gonna give them this. I mean, we know where our weakest links are, you know? So I think that, and we know our great people. I mean, Sheriff has some wonderful people that have been there a long time, I have to tell you that, Judge. But what I'm saying is that you do have the ones that take advantage of it. So I think that that everything else, and I can say this too, if an elected official tells me pay them, I gotta pay them.
so basically what you're saying, as opposed to what I recommended, was that we give them the 10 days, like Kenny suggested, and then leave it to the elected official to determine whether they qualify for any admin time
Yes,
beyond that 10 days.
that's correct, Judge.
Okay, and I'm good with that. I mean, I was just,
I'm good with that.
you gotta have another option,
Yeah.
because you can't just say 10 days, because you're gonna have some that will
Mhm.
see that as, well, I've gotta go to work even though I don't feel good.
We don't want that.
Yeah,
Well, you know, and a good example is, and I'm sorry, I chose the wrong word by weakest link, maybe that wasn't a good word to say, and I apologize for that, but, you know, when CDC said we couldn't meet more than 10 people were having parties. And that's the problem I have, is that if you go out and deliberately go out and meet people in public and you get COVID, then that should not be a liability to the county, you know? That's
I
my
agree.
opinion. That's my opinion.
I agree.
so, well, we do have a motion that's been made, about, as far as addressing the COVID initial situation would be, the county would give employees 10 days, whether they're diagnosed with COVID or whether they've been quarantined because of COVID. And then any other time within that 2021 calendar year, then any additional time would be addressed by the elected official or department head as to how to proceed. So we got here a second. Second by Commissioner Kelly. Any further discussion? If not, all those in favor say aye. All those opposed? All right.
I believe that's about as fair as way as we can do it.
Yeah, I mean, that's, It's hard to put just a one size fits all type deal on that.
If possible.
All right, Ida, do you have anything else?
I don't believe so.
Okay.
You have anything? My deal is like, being the sheriff's office, that's where the issues come in, and I get to hear everybody's issues. So, I don't just have the issues in my department, I have to talk to everybody. And I know, the sheriff has the bigger amount of the employees.
Because I do have to be around employees, I rely on Ida, and Ida does a great job.
Yeah.
And I couldn't do it without Ida, and I know I come up with some weird stuff, but each person's different. I mean, if it can happen, it's happened out there, and
We have the largest number of employees, but also the environment they're working in is a high risk area, so.
Well, Sheriff, you guys are doing something right out there, and I appreciate it.
so George, and Debbie, and the whole jail staff have gone far beyond to keep it out and do good, and, we still have employees, we've had a few get it, but, I mean, that's inevitable. With family members and, kids in school and moving back and forth, everybody's gonna get exposed at some point during this time. They've all done good, we've worked good, they've done a great job.
All right, well, thank you, Ida.
Okay,
All
that's
right.
all I have there.
The next item we have is our county clerk, Patrice.
First item, the bond.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Carol?
We have one in.
Okay,
Yes.
I know I put one in the packet.
Uh,
Basically, I'm just asking for you guys to approve the amounts of, the 2020 elected officials and the judge sign their bonds that have been approved in Commissioner's Court. And you can see all of their amounts and who they're payable to.
Okay. And you have all along?
One commissioner is higher, one constable is higher than the
Apparently I looked back on that too, apparently at some point the court said it, because the court does have the ability to set the constable's bonds, and, I don't know why. But at some point, Constable 3 was set at 1,500.
Okay. Well, Latrice says that all bonds have been turned in and signed, so we have them all. So do I hear a motion that we would approve these bonds for our government elected officials? Motion made by Commissioner Tony. Do I hear a second? Second by Commissioner King. Any discussion? If not, all those in favor say aye. All those opposed?
Okay. My next item is the copy machine in my office. The lease is fixing to be up, so this is for a new Kia Sierra copy start. And it's a 5-year lease for $129.64 with Hollins. And it is $68.69 per month lower than the lease that I've been paying for 5 months. And it's the same copy machine. It's that big Kia Sierra.
Okay.
But I'm asking for permission to, he didn't send me anything that needs to be signed. I think so for Collins. So I'm asking for approval for the new lease.
All right, so further request to have a new lease on Kia Sierra copy, 5003 black and white copier at a cost of $129.64 per month on a 5-year lease, and also allow me to sign that lease. Do I hear that in the form of a motion?
I make a motion.
Motion made by Commissioner Cordell. Do I hear a second? Second by Commissioner King. Any discussion? If not, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? All right.
Okay. And then my next item, y'all wanna do that now, or do you wanna, is it gonna require a executive session or closed session?
Can we, would you mind if we do it at the end?
That's
Okay.
fine.
All right, thank you. All right, our next item, you had this, Regina? Okay. For the county attorney, Melinda has his information.
Jim asked me to, if I would just present this, and it's just to, because his furniture, he's ordered furniture for his office, and there's a possibility it's gonna come in, big possibility that it's gonna come in after, obviously, today. So, it's just to clarify that he is going to pay for that furniture. He's ordered it, November 20th is when he placed the order, and it will be paid for out of the 2020 budget. So it's just for the, court to approve that.
All right, you've heard the request, that Jim has, placed an order for furniture, but it will not be delivered until after today, and so he would like to go back and pay for it out of his 2020 budget. So, do I hear that in the form of a motion? Motion made by Commissioner Kelly. Do I hear a second? Second by Commissioner Cornell. Any further discussion? If not, all those in favor say aye. Aye. All those opposed? All right, the next items are mine. The first one I have is, I gave everyone a copy of a letter and maps that we received from Allison Bass and McKee law firm regarding our redistricting. They had a designated set of requests, and we just go through the list. We designated our officer in our election administration. That is our county clerk, Latrice. She had, in a discussion, and Latrice, I'm certainly not speaking for you because we don't care if you want to, but I did speak with her yesterday. She said that she had reviewed the maps that were sent and that they are accurate with the current maps that we're using. And so she didn't have any changes as far as those maps were concerned. And it says, please tell us the election precincts which make up the Commissioner's Court precinct and each justice of the peace precinct. And then to provide the physical address for each elected official in your county who is elected from a precinct. Examples are commissioners, JPs, constables, and identify the precinct each officer represents. To please provide the street address of each polling place within the voting precinct, and if possible, maps showing these locations. So, we did receive this request. It does, well, the entire deal falls back really on the trees and work that she will do. But I just wanted us to look at this, be aware of it, ask any questions that we have, and then Latrice, of course, will contact them with the information that they're requesting, and I'll just send an email that basically says that the board has looked at it and is aware of it and has voted on it. So, any questions about it? I know it's one of those things that's, you only do it every 10 years, so it's.
It just seemed like the other day we did it.
Well, and it's a difficult deal when you get looking at maps and boundary lines and things like that, so. If there's no questions, then could I have a motion that basically says that we have received this information and that Latrice will follow through and return the information that they're requesting.
Make that motion.
I have a motion by Commissioner Cornell. Do I hear a second? All right, have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Other than I want to thank Latrice, once again, for her work and her office work and her, not volunteers, but her extra employees' work for the election process. That, we talked about that yesterday. We don't think we'll have another elections like we did this fall. And so, but for all their hard work and things that they did involving that election, and the work that she'll provide to Allison and Bass to help us get started on this redistricting
Our
situation.
staff did a super good job. We haven't had any issues, thank goodness.
Yeah. So, all right. So we have a motion and a second, or do we have a second?
Yes, Kelly.
Okay. All right. Any further discussion? All right. If not, all those in favor say aye. All those opposed? Certainly won't be the last we'll hear about redistricting for this year, coming years, so. All right, the next item I have is in regards to courthouse security. Ever since the COVID situation has started here at this courthouse, we have funneled all of our incoming traffic to the basement. We have 2 locations for them to come in the basement. And I visited with David, and that has worked well, in my opinion. It helps provide us with, I think, a little more security. If we're gonna continue, we're gonna have to spend some money because we're gonna have to do something with the doors on the first floor, in which we limit access, but we've got to allow access to leave. And so that's something we'll have to address. But what I'm here for today is to talk to you about buying a metal detector for each building. The Justice Center, their metal detector is they're having issues with it. And then, of course, we've never had one here. But by having that location where they only come in the basement, that would afford us the opportunity to have one. And the other issue is where they sit for like a desk type situation. You know, right now, both of them just have like for no better term, like a little school desk that they sit at. And what I'd like to do is buy them some type of working counter that would, number one, give them more room, and just provide them a little more, I don't know how to phrase it, a little more workspace and a little more accessibility, and not, just be out there. So I have checked. I can buy metal detectors. Of course, the metal detectors are range anywhere from a whole bunch to a bunch. So the ones that I saw is a Garrett metal detector. These prices I got were from Granger, and they have a model 117-1000 at a cost of $3,835.20. And so I would ask the court to allow me, if we have the money in the 2020 budget, to purchase 2 of those. And
2020 budget.
yes, ma'am. Or split the cost between the years, or whatever we need to do.
If we have the money, it'd be better to get them out of 2020, I think, Judge.
Yeah.
To the judges, Tad to it, we have looked into having someone look at the ones at the Justice Center. They are outdated. There's only one company, I think it's in El Paso, that I talked to, but trying to get someone to come do it, there's just not one here. They're so outdated, and it would be better to purchase 2. They were up to date, and maybe a maintenance plan on them to help keep them going.
Okay.
So these 2 you're talking about purchasing, Judge, or one for the courthouse, and where was the other one
The
going?
Justice Center.
Will that be enough? Just,
After the judge and I talked, and I know right now, we're limiting access to both courthouses. That's not gonna last forever. And at some point, we're gonna have to get back to normal, and people are gonna have to start coming in and doing their business at the district clerk, at the county clerk. Having 2 up-to-date metal detectors and having 2 countertops to where we can funnel everybody through. And at the old courthouse, I'm looking as, I know I've got 300 to 350 misdemeanor warrants sitting at the DA's office that due to COVID and due to Zoom hearings and stuff, we can't do. At some point, when it's lifted and these people start coming to court, it's gonna be easier to funnel them in through there, check them, whether it be at this courthouse or at the other courthouse. But it's gonna flood the courts, and we need to have the security in place and blocked off so we can control the access, and make sure everything is security-wise good.
Well, with the metal detectors and the desks,
Yes.
how much do you want to spend?
Well, the other item I was gonna talk to you about is they have what they call a marquee double reception area, which, it doesn't give the dimensions, but it's enough space for 2 people to be behind the counter. And so, and they're $2,132.36 each. So, let's say 4,400 for the reception, stations. And then what was that, let's say 3,900 each for the metal detectors, so that'd be 7,800. So, you know, we're talking $12,000-13,000.
So no more than 15,000.
Yeah, and
well, the judge had mentioned, and I guess we'll probably talk about it later, but you had mentioned the access to the other doors, to restrict access in, but allow, you talking about the push bars?
what we'll have to do is get with, some vendor that will be able to provide us some kind of push button, you know, like on our handicap button where you hit and it activates the doors, or a push bar, or something that would allow exit from inside the building.
Keep it locked from the outside.
Yeah, and of course, those doors would lock when they're not, when that bar is not engaged. But I do know we'll have to provide that, because of fire regulations and safety
Judge,
regulations.
with regard to this, the station you're talking about buying for security, is it pretty heavy duty stuff? Is it something that'll last
This-
a while?
Now, I think it will last. Now, is it a security station, you know, for, security means? No. I mean, it's commercial use, you know, that you would find in professional buildings, doctors' offices, things like that, where you have, a reception counter, you know, that people walk up to and check in and things like that. And that's what, you know, that's what these are. And, David and I had talked about when we get them in and see how they are, maybe getting with IMS or somebody and getting a little
Plating?
plating put behind them, or a little hardening them up a little bit. Because, you know, anything that would be full-fledged security standards is going to be extremely expensive.
Yeah, it would.
And so,
Is this gonna include some glass?
no, actually, I didn't price the, just a second, Jimmy. Most of these reception deals, no, none of these come with glass because they have a countertop. You know, the whole purpose is so that someone can walk up to the counter and provide a little distance. Of course, that's what we're needing right now, a little distance from the security people and the other people.
Well, I'm thinking, as far as glass goes on that security station, it wouldn't be like what we've got here just for protection from COVID. It'd have to be something.
Yeah, a little more secure, yeah, so. Well, I guess basically what I'm asking for, and I apologize for doing it on the very last day of the year, but it never did seem like it was a good time to do it, or what we wanted to do. If I could get the court to allow me to purchase no greater than $15,000, I will purchase what I just told you we were gonna purchase. But however, especially on the metal detectors, I know we'll wanna buy some type of warranty plan from the manufacturer on those. So, if y'all would allow me to spend no more than $15,000, then I'll do that.
And where would it come from?
Now, that's a $64 question, so.
Well, at some point, we're gonna have to figure it out.
Yeah.
I mean, most likely courthouse security, but I'm gonna have to look, but I think that needs to be in your motion.
Well, and that's what
But it
my
needs to
question
come
was,
out
do
of-
we have that money?
I mean, I think it's gonna have to come from courthouse security, but I would say put that in your motion and then I'll have to find the money,
Okay.
because it's not in there right now.
Now, I can say, as far as my budget, I'm not up to date today on my budget on what I spent, but I certainly wouldn't be opposed to any excess that's left in my budget going to the security fund.
I don't
to do
mind
that.
if I have some left in a line item that you can use to, because it's helping my guys. I mean,
Yes.
at both courthouses. I mean,
Yeah, and I would think.
the security is, both courthouses are a nightmare. Y'all all know as far as the security standpoint, both
They are.
courthouses are a nightmare. And, I think the employees that are sitting down there need some type of protection. And I think the general public coming in and out, whether they're on jury duty or whatever, appreciates the security of them coming in and going there safe while they're there. We just need to get it structured and done properly and not wasting $15,000.
Well, this will be a good start.
All right, so do I hear a motion to allow me, we're still figuring out where to get money from.
Well, I would say courthouse security
Okay.
or wherever funds are available,
Okay.
so
So,
that I can figure out what I'm gonna do.
okay, so I need a motion to allow me to purchase, security equipment that we've discussed this morning, not to exceed $15,000, and will be paid for out of the courthouse security fund or other designated areas where Melinda can find funding,
For out of the 2020 budget.
out of the 2020 budget.
And that's all motion.
All in one motion, I just need,
Well, let's go ahead and add, if it goes over, it's not restricted to if it goes over, you can come back.
You come back.
well, basically what I'll tell you is I'll come back and tell you the amount, but I'm not going to purchase anything differently than what we've discussed today. The only thing that's not known is the warranty issues, okay? And so, what I just said, put that in the form of a motion. All right, motion made by Commissioner Kelly. Do I hear a second? Second by Commissioner King. Any further discussion? If not, all those in favor say aye. All those opposed? All right. I'll get that done this afternoon. All right, let me get back to where I'm at on my agenda. Office furniture for my office I can table that. I put it on there because when we first talked about it, they were giving us a March delivery time, but it's here. And so, and I have the funds within my budget to pay for what we ordered, but it's already been delivered, so we're good on that. So, table item C. Item D is just an information. We're gonna have a swearing-in ceremony for our newly elected and re-elected officials from from this election, and that will occur at 9 a.m. tomorrow at the Justice Center in the Assembly Room. And once again, just like COVID has done everything, it'll be modified, before we've sort of had a little reception area and things like that, and we won't have that. I just want those officials to not be offended that we're not doing that. It has nothing to do with anything other than trying to do this as safely as we can. So, but you're all welcome to come. Some of you will be there to be sworn in, but like I said, we'll do that at 9 a.m. tomorrow morning. So, and then the next item I have is in regards to Petersburg EMS and their November 2020 financial statement. And that is within the city limits of Petersburg. They had 4 dispatches, 4 transports, and 4 billable runs. Outside the city, they had 2 dispatches and 2 transports and 2 billable runs for a total of 6 dispatches, transports, and billable runs. Their expenses, or their revenue for the month of November were $4,378.25. Their expenses were $4,566. Their expenses were $8,944.70 for a difference of a negative $4,566.45. So do I hear a motion to accept this Petersburg EMS financial?
Make the motion.
Motion made by Commissioner Cornell. Do I hear a second? Second by Commissioner King. Any discussion? If not, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? All right. And then my last item, I was at the airport board meeting. I didn't receive anything from Stacy, but they did discuss and ask that, I'm trying to think who's stepping, Mr. Brown is stepping down from the airport, Bob Brown, from the airport board. And he served many years on that board and represented Hale County on that board. And he has stated that he's stepping down effective today, I guess, or tomorrow. And that, anyway, the board had talked and they would like to ask the county to appoint Roy Kaiser to be the Hale County representative on that board. And so I would assume we need to ask if there's anyone else that would want to make any nominations or recommendations for that board. Okay, hearing none, do I hear a motion that we appoint Mr. Kaiser to the represent Hale County on the airport board?
I'll make the motion.
All right, motion made by Commissioner Cornell. Do I hear a second? Second by Commissioner Kelly. Any discussion? I haven't spoken with Mr. Kaiser. They represented during that meeting that he had been approached and that he was agreeable to do this, so. All right, if there's no other discussion, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? All right. All right, our next item we have is from the Sheriff's Office.
Make it real quick, I just have one person to help. His name is Christopher Delgado. His effective date was 12/22/2020. Uncertified jailer, group 13, step 1, hourly rate of $12.85.
Okay, you've heard the request from David on personnel action regarding Christopher Delgado, effective date 12/22/2020, at a rate of pay hourly of $12.85. Do I hear a motion to approve that? Motion made by Commissioner King. Do I hear a second? Second by Commissioner Kelly. Any discussion? If not, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? All right.
My next item is the hiring of Dion Guerra, who just retired from the PD after 28 years. He is going to be the new bailiff for Judge Serpoli. His effective date was 12/28/2020. Bailiff, deputy, group 17, step 1. At $15.65 an hour.
Sheriff, before you want to make that motion, I know that he comes in as isn't he a master?
Yes, he has to turn his stuff in, so it'll go.
It'll go up to
It'll
the
go up.
master's pay, so that's the starting pay. But once we get the paperwork, we would move him up to his proper amount. So
Okay, Ida, do you know what that equates to on an annual salary?
what the
That
sheriff just
position,
stated,
Dion, yes.
yes, sir. The annual salary that he stated is,
17.
34,000. My God, guys, I cannot read this.
Need some better glasses, Ida.
Okay, is that 34,000? 791.14.
34,791.
Yes, and he does have his master's, he's just needing to provide the paperwork. And when I set him up, in the system, I did talk to Ellen, and we kind of went over, and that's what Melinda's probably going to go get. We went over where he will be, that's just the start pay, since he hasn't provided the paperwork, and maybe he has by now, but I don't know. So, Melinda's gonna bring the paperwork in just a second to verify that pay after he gets certified.
And I suppose Augie's salary and his is the same or similar?
Their starting pay was the same. I don't know if
Yes.
what level he is in his law enforcement, whether he's an intermediate, advanced, or master peace officer. But they all, once they turned it in to Ellen, then we did it up to Ida, and it's
I'll be that as 17.6.
17.6.
Okay, thank you.
Since Augie was in DPS, I don't know how they do all that. I mean, they do their training yearly, just like we do, but I don't know if he goes that step further to get the extra training that TCO requires to bump each level. So,
And that's why I was kind of curious.
yeah, they have the same opportunity, they carry the same license, I just don't know what DPS requires.
But basically, what the board needs to vote on today is
The hiring.
Is the hiring and the beginning salary,
Yes.
correct?
So he's gonna be at a 17.4 with certification, and it's at an hourly rate of $16.85. And that's an annual amount of $37,486.25.
37.
Yes, sir. So there is an increase because of his license,
Yes.
okay?
So do we need to hire him at the beginning rate or the license rate?
Probably the last rate, Judge, because I know he is, or he wouldn't be in the position that he was in at the city, so, we could, just approve the 17.4 and a law enforcement rate of $16.85.
Okay, all right, so you've heard the request from David, hiring of Dion Guerra at a effective date of 12/28 at a pay group 17, step 4, which is an hourly rate of $16.85 per hour. Do I hear that in the form of a motion?
I make the motion.
Motion made by Commissioner Cornell, do I hear a second? Second by Commissioner Kelly. Any discussion? If not, all those in favor say aye. All those opposed? All right.
Thank you, that's all I have.
Thank you, Dave. All right, and then the next item we have is Commissioner Precinct 1, regarding courthouse painting.
kind of a bubble guarantee. How you couldn't spend money to paint offices, but you spend money to paint and work on everything else.
And furniture.
And furniture. So, somebody explained that to me, you don't understand how.
Well, I think Melinda had, based her decisions based on what had been done previously, to the best of her knowledge. And that basically, in order to change that, we have talked about redoing our operating, policy book, and, we haven't done that yet. But I think what would clarify it is if you put that in the form of a motion, that, as long as the person that is expending the funds has the funding in their budget, then they could pay for the services that they need performed, whether that be repair, or painting, or whatever the case may be.
Well, I think that'd be a good idea, because there's times that, you know, you can't get somebody else to do it, and even in your case, I think you had some inmates do some painting for you. Well, COVID, you can't literally do that stuff like you did.
Yeah,
So there may be times we need to do that.
and to be honest with you guys, we really need to address some of the issues here at the courthouse, as far as upkeep and to be honest with you, the interior of the courthouse could use painting, you know, every floor. And I know we're bound by our budget and the confinements of that. But I think if we're gonna wait and do it all at one time, we're never gonna be able to do it, because we're not gonna be able to set aside that kind of funding. And so even if we have to go through, at the end of each year, based upon the balance of what we have left in the funding, and maybe do one floor at a time, or, you know, something like that. And same with the flooring, you know, we talked about this carpet that's throughout the courthouse, and maybe trying to replace it. And once again, you know, we're never gonna be in a position to do it all at one time, but if we could maybe do it one floor at a time.
Judge, that'd be similar to what we did on the parking lot out here. We just completed our parking lot. And, we might do something the same way, you take a floor time of year, and that money like we spent on the parking lot, we dedicated to the park here at courthouse.
Okay, well, like I say, and it's not just the cosmetic issues here, we have some structural, needs that we need to address here at the building also, so. But, anyway, Harold, I would think the solution to this deal would be to put in the form of a motion that, painting would be considered equivalent to any other type of professional service.
We just didn't, me and Kenny doesn't understand how we can do parking with not that.
It's more for
It
clarification.
isn't that it can't be done. It's that the county has always paid for all the paint and all the supplies, but each office has always either painted it themselves, or in better times, we found somebody who, like, the adult probation, they're the ones that did, at one time, we did most of it ourselves, but at one time, we were able to get a probationer, an adult probationer, who needed the community service hours. And he came over, just happened to be a contractor, and did it for us. But that's what was always the practice before. That it wasn't that it couldn't be done, sometimes it was even paid for by that elected official or that department head, if they wanted to hire somebody outside. Because, you know, we are dealing with taxpayer dollars, so we're trying to all be good stewards of that. So it wasn't that it couldn't be done, it was, you know, as I said, the county's always paid for the supplies and the painting, the paint. But as far as the labor of it all, that was always done by that department, that office.
Once we get back to more normal situation, we may still wanna use
Yeah.
people like that, that'd be great.
We're certainly not gonna limit how we can do it.
Sure.
But we also don't wanna limit the other end, or if you need something done and we find ourselves in a situation like this, that you're able to do that.
Sure.
And so, so if you would put that in the form of a motion, that painting, would be considered as any other type of professional service. And as long as that department that is having that work done falls within their budget guidelines, then they're able to do
Put that on
that. Okay. Do I hear second?
A second.
Second by Commissioner Cornell. Any further discussion? And like I say, I think this is something that when we do our operating policy book, what we'll probably try to do is appoint a committee like we have before and have them go through it and make some changes. And you know, it's almost impossible to address every situation in any type of policy, but I think ours needs to be updated. And so, all right, any other discussion? All right, if not, all those in favor say aye. All those opposed? All right.
Well, it's really impossible, Judge, once you throw COVID into the
Yeah.
equation.
Well, and you know, in doing policy books for lots of years, like I say, the best you can do is give practical guidelines. You know, like I say, a policy book can't address every situation, you know, and specifically, so, and then same with operating manuals. But, all right, now we'll go back to Latrice's items. And Latrice is asking under closed meeting pursuant to section 551.0785B in the Texas Government Code to deliberate a matter that includes consideration of information in the medical records of an individual applicant benefits from the Hill County Sick Leave Pool. And so we'll go into closed session. We'll discuss this situation, and then we'll reconvene into open meeting, where if we decide in the closed session to take any action, we'll do that in open meeting.
Judge, can we have a 5-minute recess?
Yes, sir. All right, we will begin our our closed session at 10:50.